very early morning. But welcome to the show. Appreciate you are here on Facebook, TikTok, as well as YouTube. We're looking at a live radar right now, and what we do show is some scattered showers and thunderstorms, non-severe, over just east of Joplin, Missouri area. Those are going to continue to progress in a east-northeast direction. And appreciate y'all joining us here. We do see also some storms over in eastern part of Oklahoma. You guys have really been getting clobbered overnight and yesterday, even areas of Texas. But where are all the risks for today? Well, we do have a risk for tornadoes here into areas of west or eastern part of New Mexico. That's the risk for tornadoes in the green there. And then we also have a categorical outlook that is pretty large area, marginal risk up and on eastern part of Texas, all the way up into the Midwest area, into areas of Indiana, that it does include the southern part of Illinois and even up into areas of like Detroit, Michigan, Cleveland, Ohio, those areas. That's a marginal risk. We're going to take a look at some of the weather models here shortly and kind of give you a breakdown of what the timing could be like. We do also have that slight risk over in eastern part of New Mexico and far western, northwestern part of Texas. Let's go ahead and do a breakdown with the weather models and see what we got going on here. All right, so the weather models we're going to kind of run through. Let me shut off the next rad here and bring up your weather models. We'll take a look at the latest HRRR weather model here and do a loop of that for over the next, oh, let's say 48 hours just to kind of see what's expected. Get some timing on that. Bear with me one moment. Hey, Danielle, Arita, thank you very much for joining. El Joe, Free Life Gaming, and George Lear 509. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and break down the timing. These are radar estimates. Again, radar estimates, not an exact. Yes, yes, I'm really early, Tufts Weather, really early. 6 o'clock today. I have lots of meetings that are expected today. And we have a strategy meeting at work, and it's going to be a 2-day event. So tomorrow I will not. Was just scrolling TikTok and I showed up. Yeah, well, that's good that you got the notifications. But the next couple of days is going to be very busy at my full-time job. So I will not have a live tomorrow. I'll have a live just now, and then I got to go to work at 8 o'clock until 5. But then I'm staying at a hotel for a strategy meeting, and then after that, uh, going to be tomorrow is going to be a big day for me. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the timing. Again, these are radar estimates of the timing. We're still waiting for 48 hours of a loop here, so just bear with me one moment. WSV3 data is just a little bit on the slow side this morning. Cheryl Boyd, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Oh, I'm glad that I was on your FYP. That's awesome. That means that's working. All right, so here's the timing. This is an estimate, the model estimate of 4 a.m., okay? So obviously, we do need to, whoops, clear that out. It always picks the reflective precipitation type. I'm like, I don't need the precipitation type. It's not like we're Yeah, you're in the marginal risk for 3 days. Yeah, it's going to be a really rough. I am pretty sure some of this marginal risk is going to be upgraded to slight risk, without a doubt. All right, we're still waiting for this to load. Apparently, it's about as early of a riser as I am. Usually, I don't like the 6 a.m. stuff. Um, all right, we're about 48 hours in here, so 1 second. All right, so now we do have the model run. Let's go ahead and show that. This is a look at what 4 a.m. might have looked like. Obviously, you can see pretty significant storms that were up in areas of Chicago if this held true. We're expecting later in the afternoon, so sometime 2 o'clock time frame. As you can see, some pretty heavy storms off to the coastline here of North Carolina and South Carolina, rather, and areas of Missouri, St. Louis. You're under the gun for some more storms there. But the big event, some areas of eastern part of New Mexico, we do have that risk for some actually tornadoes to eastern part of New Mexico and northwestern portions of Texas. We play that through. That's looking at sometime around 7 p.m. time frame. So not going to be real super early over in that area. It's going to kind of need some time to cook, as they call it, and then moves on into the overnight hours about 1 o'clock in the morning for those areas. You can kind of see that. Ohio, I'll take a look at Clarksville, Tennessee here. Maddox. All right, see if we can find Clarksville, Tennessee. There you are, right up top. It looks like you guys are in general thunderstorms, so I'm not seeing a whole lot expected in Clarksville until it looks like tomorrow sometime. And let's take a look at your risk for tomorrow. Yeah, you guys are at a marginal risk, and actually, based on this weather model, Clarksville, Tennessee, I do expect you guys to be upgraded to a slight risk in Clarksville as well as Humboldt, Tennessee, the western portion of Tennessee. No, this is not a website. This is actually WSV3. W is in Walter, S is in Sam, V is in Victor, and then the number 3. Yeah, it's an app, and it's to the tune of like $242 a year. So not super expensive, but on my low budget, it is expensive. Has a lot of stuff. All right, let's go ahead and pull this through here a little bit further. So we're looking at day 2. I want to get back to day 1. Dallas, Texas, and can you see Ohio? Let's go ahead and take a look at Ohio. All right. So here's some areas of Ohio that you can kind of expect. So marginal risk, timing on this, we have around 6. The model run shows around 6:30. Sometime after 6:30, we start to see in areas of Indiana, over by Crawfordsville, Monticello, Winamac, some stronger storms, but doesn't really pick up a whole lot on that. It's kind of showing this HRRR is showing a little more enhanced of a look, so it makes it look a little bit more severe than what it actually is. 1 second. Darn allergies. All right, so let's take a look at Ohio area as we go into the extreme northwestern portions of Ohio. Doesn't really look too significant. I mean, it's going to be after 10:30. Look at that. This is having a real difficult time. So just be aware that things could end up changing with this, but this looks like it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to get things going in the northwestern portion of Ohio. But if it can break through any of the cap, could possibly have some things right around Daytona, Wapakoneta. Is that how you say that? Not sure. Kirby and Findlay areas. Let's go. How do you think the Panhandle will look today? Are you Texas Panhandle? I'm assuming you're referring to. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so we're seeing these are radar estimates, and it already shows the severe thunderstorm watches that you guys had, the history. All right, and deplorable couch, Bradley. We need rain in Mitchell. Yes, definitely need rain in Mitchell, South Dakota. Need rain everywhere in the northern plains, in my opinion. So Johnny G, you're asking about the Panhandle. I'm assuming you're referring to Texas Panhandle. So that's kind of where I'm looking at here. We do have I-10 area, Houston, pretty significant storms expected around 9 p.m., 8 p.m. Yeah, I'd say more along the lines of 8 p.m. Pretty significant storms there. And if this holds true, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the LaGrange and Columbus area of Texas, east of San Antonio, you would probably end up with some slight risk added in there instead of just this marginal risk. All right, so the Texarkana area, this is having a little bit of a struggle showing that area having much of a risk. It looks like it's going to be maybe 4 p.m. A few cells in here, but we're not seeing anything that suggests a probability for tornadoes in there. It's mainly going to be some more rain. Obviously, you don't need a whole lot of it. The hail risk, again, hail, these risks are going to be updated at 7:53 a.m. from the Storm Prediction Center. So just be mindful that these risks are slightly outdated because of the fact that I'm doing such an early live. Okay, so this is where the wind risk is. As you can see, at this point in time, it's not that significant. Day two looks like you end up having quite a significant, so day two would be tomorrow. You do have a pretty significant area that is going to be impacted by tomorrow in areas of Woodward, Enid, Oklahoma City, um, and obviously Texas again. Amari, you're welcome. All right, let me go ahead and zoom back out here, see if we have anybody else that's asking some areas here. Stafford, Les, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Johnny G, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Again, folks, if you have not followed, I do these lives daily. However, tomorrow I will not be doing a live tomorrow morning. Usually my lives are at 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time, but I do have some meetings that I have to go to on my full-time job, so it's a little tough. Missouri, Branson, Missouri. Hey, 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 Kathy, thank you very much. Branson, Missouri, let's go ahead and take a look at you. There's your Branson. Let's go ahead and take a look at these are radar estimates here based on HRRR. All right, so it does look like based on this, there was some storms that went through your area about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And then we do see some more storms expected today, sometime in the afternoon in your Branson area. So somewhere after 1 p.m. I'm going to switch the model to a different model that's, I think, more updated. Yeah, this one's updated a little closer. So I want to get that updated here a little bit more. Hey, Shannon, good morning from Austin, Texas. Well, good morning to you as well. Johnson County, Kansas. I'm familiar with that area, that Lenexa, Overland Park areas. And KCK. Nebraska or Iowa? Deborah Ann Widener. I will definitely take a look at Nebraska or Iowa here very shortly. I'm just going to look at some of the models here. All right, looks like it did update a 18-hour update here. So I want to get to Missouri, Branson with this updated. Again, it looks like there could be some storms. Actually, with this weather model, it looks like there could be some storms around uh, as early as 10 o'clock this morning for Branson, Missouri. Pretty intense storms possible in Branson, Missouri area. And that'll follow you throughout. And it kind of, oh goodness, it went to reflective. Sorry, folks, went to reflective precipitation type. I don't need that. There we go. It's pretty intense storms throughout the day. And let's go ahead and take a look at Johnson County. And then we'll get back down to Texas. And then we'll get over to areas of Nebraska and Iowa. Let me do a span out here, and I can maybe cover Nebraska and Iowa right now as well. All right, so Nebraska and Iowa over the next 18 hours isn't looking too bad. Um, so Nebraska and Iowa, you guys are not, unless you're in western part of Nebraska, you got general thunderstorms for today. Day two, again, marginal over an extreme western portion of Nebraska. Nothing for Iowa expected. Day three, general thunderstorms as of right now. Day four, we go into probabilistics. Again, doesn't look that bad. Day five, really nothing to account for Nebraska and Iowa. So really going to have a few light showers, not anything real huge for Nebraska and Iowa. Let's go back to day one. All right, Cleveland, Ohio, your storms are expected super late in the evening after 10 p.m. For Cleveland, Ohio area is what I'm expecting for Cleveland, Ohio. And you're under a marginal risk as of right now. So we'll have to kind of just stay weather aware. Stephanie H., thank you very much for the follow. And then Johnson County, I know you guys wanted to know about that. You guys had some really impactful storms over there. Let's go ahead and see if we can get those local storm reports that were on there. Not sure if it's going to show it on this weather model, but I know you guys had some crazy stuff that went through KCK area. All right, so you guys are outside of the risk area for today in Kansas City, Kansas area, and you got general thunderstorms for tomorrow. Day three categorical look, you start seeing some of this move. So day three, which ends up being your Thursday, or I apologize, your Friday, this ends up being the marginal risk in this dark shade of green. So you could end up having some of this push further north. We'll have to see how the weather models play out, and I'll have an update on Friday for that. But unfortunately, I will not be available tomorrow for live updates. And then again, that probabilistic for day four, which looks into your weekend. Saturday is going to be pretty impactful for areas along all of this right here. We're looking at more of the southern plains as well as Arkansas, Mississippi area, Alabama, and Georgia. That would be for your Saturday. Yeah, Texas is definitely charged up. Thanks for the follow, Stephanie, and 69 Bird. Thanks for the follow. Haslett, Texas. I know there was somebody in here that asked about that. M. Sharma. I'm sorry that I'm holding off on you. Don't mean to. M, could you tell me exactly where uh, Haslett. I'm trying to remember where Haslett is. My memory doesn't serve me very well. And obviously, I'm not from Haslett area. See if I can find where Haslett is here. One second. Haslett, that's Tarrant County. Oh, okay. So that would be over by Avondale, extreme northern part. Okay. I was way off. It should show up here shortly. Where's Haslett? Fort Worth area. Gal, I'm getting super slow on this. Where? Oh, must be a small town because I cannot, it's not showing up on my map. I'm going to look for this little tiny town, and I don't know how big Haslett is, but I'm guessing it's pretty small considering it's not showing up on here. But you could definitely, if you're in that Fort Worth, Dallas area, thankfully, you guys are not expecting a whole lot. Maybe a few light sprinkles here and there, but nothing real huge. Let's go ahead and kind of show that, play that out a little bit here over the next 18 hours. As you can see, not really expecting a whole lot in that Fort Worth area. Is it going to rain in Gerald, Texas, above Austin and a bit above? You're welcome, M. Sharma. Is it above? Okay, it's Gerald, Texas, above Austin. Thanks so much. Oh, yeah, you guys are going to get some stormy weather in that area. Let's take a look. It's moving on out. And it looks like you guys are going to expect it fairly late in the day. So around 5 o'clock, you could end up having some stormy weather there. Gerald. And let's see here. But not, it's going to be marginally severe in Gerald, Texas. Marginally severe around 5 o'clock. So that would be maybe some pea-sized hail, marble-sized hail at most. Not expecting any tornadic activity over in that area of Gerald, Texas. All right, I'm driving from OKC. Junior Richardson, Grand Island, Nebraska is good for today and even for the next couple of days. There could be some things on the horizon for your weekend, so be sure you're following, and we'll do some live updates here on Friday. Murfreesboro, Texas, or Tennessee, and Rockport, Indiana. They span back out here. All right, so for today's risk, we do have not much going on for all of Tennessee. If you so, oh Willie, if you're driving from OKC to Savannah, Georgia, should be good on weather for the next. I would say that's probably going to take you a couple of days. Um, let's go ahead and show you that here. So in this area, you've got general thunderstorms, so not really expecting a whole lot. Your risk would be depending on what time you're leaving that OKC area. I would be a little bit concerned if you're taking this I-35. I'm guessing I'm not a trucker and I don't do a whole lot of traveling, so I would guess that you'd probably take out of OKC area and Fort Smith and following that on down over to areas of I-40 and then picking up over here. So if you're following that general area over by Little Rock and passing through there, today you could end up with some scattered thunderstorms, but not anything real huge. Again, the probability for tornadoes in those areas are less than 2% for today. Probability for hail, pretty significantly low there. Wind threat, really low as well. For your day 2, doesn't look too bad. Again, doesn't look bad at all in areas all the way over to Georgia for day 2 either for tornadic activity. General thunderstorms. You're going to get some rain and things like that. That's about it. Rockport. You're welcome, Junior Richardson. All right. Thanks for sharing the live. Appreciate it. Continue to share that. Stillwater, Oklahoma this weekend. That's not looking fun. If you're talking about Friday and Saturday, that's not looking good at all. I'll get to that here shortly. Tomorrow at 4 a.m. Yep, you should be good then, oh Willie. Thanks for sharing the live, Shannon. Appreciate that. All right, we did have Shannon was asking about areas of Austin and that area here. We kind of picked that a little bit here. Again, these are radar estimates, so sometime around after 5 p.m. in Austin area could end up with some stormy weather, marginally severe, not expecting any tornado activity. Alani, Norman, Oklahoma today is good. Yeah, you guys had some. I'm glad you're safe. Anybody in Norman, Oklahoma, or anyone in Oklahoma in general, I'm glad you guys are safe. I hope lots of people are safe all throughout that whole area. Had some pretty impactful storms that impacted your area overnight, late yesterday. Um, so Norman, Oklahoma area, you're okay today. General thunderstorms just to the west of you. Milwaukee for Sunday. He's span out here. Sunday, that's a little too far out for me to go. Go ahead and follow. I'll have daily live updates. I don't use GFS weather model. That's a longer range weather model, but it has been very difficult to get that pinpointed. So really what I like to do is I like to keep, I mean, if I'm going to look at the overall risks, I can look at that, but as far as weather models go, so this is a look at your Friday, the risks. You got this whole swath here in Oklahoma. Again, southern portion of Missouri, uh, and pretty much all of Arkansas, Tennessee, even areas of Kentucky. Pretty significant weather expected for your Friday into Saturday. Again, this is the radar estimates. I can only go out. Let me shut those off right now. Because I can't go that far out. I'm not going to be able to go out any further than 18 hours. But I'll show you the risks for some of these areas. Flint, Michigan for today. All right, so Flint, Michigan area, you guys are in a marginal risk. Again, not expecting anything real huge there. After 8 p.m. tonight, there could be some stormy weather again if it can break through. So Indiana, Ohio area, again, that's radar estimates. Let me pull that up here and give you the next 18 hours. Not total precip here. I appreciate y'all staying here. Your app can't go past. No, my app can go past 18 hours. Tufts weather. It can go past. It could go way past 18 hours. I'm just. I don't like to utilize GFS model, and the GFS weather model that goes out hundreds of hours. But anytime go past 24 hours, you get it gets really difficult to have accuracy. So it definitely could go past 18 hours. It's just depending on which weather model I utilize. All right, so let's kind of take a look at the timing for today for areas of Indiana. That's a look at around 3:40 p.m. So you have some rain showers, possibly a few bouts of small pea-sized, marble-sized hail in some of these heavier showers and thunderstorms around Rochester area. That would be in areas of Indiana. And then as we go over to Flint, I wanted to check that out. That's also about 4 p.m. Some storms there, not anything real significant. There does show a few blips, Sarnia, so east of Flint, Imlay City in Michigan, around 5 p.m. Stronger storm there possible. And then mainly down south of Flint, Ann Arbor, Sterling Heights, around 7:30. Not too shabby there. All right, let's go ahead. Antlers, Oklahoma. We'll span back out here. Antlers, Oklahoma. You're not expecting a whole lot in those areas for today. Does anybody want me to see farther out than 18 hours? I can take a look at the NAM if you guys want. I trust that more than I do GFS. So let me take a look at the NAM here and give you, I could go out 60 hours. The unfortunate thing is the NAM 3K was updated at 4 a.m. So when you're talking something that was updated at 6 a.m. versus something that was updated at 4 a.m., there could be some differences. So you're welcome, Norma. All right, so we're going to go through this 60 hours of radar loop here, so that way we can go out a little bit farther. Try to cover a little bit larger of an area. Appreciate all the follows and the likes, folks. Appreciate that very much. Again, I do these daily live updates usually at 8 a.m., but today is a little bit earlier. Got some meetings at work. All right, so these are radar estimates that we're looking at here. Again, as you can see, some marginally severe weather is expected over in areas of Springfield, Missouri this morning, early this morning. And then that could redevelop as we get into the later in the day, around 6, 7 o'clock time frame. But we do expect some severe, more significantly severe weather in areas of northeastern part of New Mexico and northwestern portions of Texas. This is a look at around 11:30 tonight. Things don't get really ramped up until 11:30 according to this weather model. And then as we get into the 5th, let's go ahead and get the Storm Prediction Center information for day 2. Okay, so we do have day 2, a slight risk right in this area near Lubbock. So that's a look at estimates around 10:45 a.m. Central Daylight Time. And then areas later in the afternoon, Southwestern portion of Oklahoma, Ulysses, around 5 p.m. tomorrow. But look at those storms. More torrential rain is expected for those areas. Thank you, Marianne, for the share. Amber Worthington, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Bell Bell and Justin Daly, thank you for the follows as well. Indiana area, we can take a look at that area. This is looking at day 2. You can kind of see your area. I'll zoom in on Indiana a little bit more. This is a look at around 7:30 in the morning on tomorrow. So tomorrow you do have that marginal risk for severe weather. I do expect some areas um, like southern part of Indiana to get upgraded to a slight risk. Maybe the Odin and Bedford and Salem areas. So it's mainly going to cover the southern portion of Indiana for tomorrow. This is all the way through. Let's take a look here. Oofda. Not looking forward to this. Let's go back over here and take a look at this. Is a look at um, around 7:50 a.m. on June 6th. Let's play this out a little bit further here, shall we? See if they have for day 2 the probability for tornadoes. Ooh, that probability for tornadoes is much more significant for areas. You got the brown section, that's a 5% outlook, risk outlook, excuse me, for tornadoes for tomorrow. The 2% is the green shade there. Tulsa, Oklahoma, the 8th and 9th. Sorry, Leroy, I don't go out that far. 8th and 9th is there's too many things that could change. I applaud people that want to give information for the 8th and 9th, but in my experience, going out any further than even a few days, especially when you're looking at weather models, it's too risky. I mean, I can give you, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can give you the probabilistics for day 5 and day 6. But right now I'm looking at probabilistics for day 5 and day 6. It doesn't have anything from the SPC. So that's all I can give you at this point in time. So we're looking right now at day 2, which is tomorrow. Sorry, Leroy. Front rim bang. Thank you for the follow, Trish 00001. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and play through the next couple of days here with NAM 3K that we're looking at here. All right, so I'm really concerned. This is a slight risk for tomorrow in the yellow, and then the marginal risk is the darker shade of green, and then kind of the glowing general thunderstorms for the lighter shade of green. But this is a pretty significant uh, for tomorrow around 11:50 a.m. Central Daylight Time. And then as we get into the afternoon hours, just look at this for day, what is this? Day 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we got to go to day 3. Let's look. Day 3. There it is. Okay, so this is day 3 we're looking at. So this would be June 6th. June 5th into the 6th, rather. Because you look at this is around 2 o'clock in the morning. So June 5th into the 6th. This is going to be a lot of rain, a lot of moisture. I'm going to have to take a look at the excessive rainfall outlook here. But look at that. And then not only that, right here, would not be a bit surprised for, Oh yeah, there's quite an area expected. Big time wind and hail is expected in here. Even a few embedded tornadoes would not rule that out. Unfortunately, that would be for Norman, Oklahoma, super early in the wee hours of the morning. So if you live in the Oklahoma area, if you don't, well, anywhere in Oklahoma or even areas of Arkansas, I'd recommend getting a NOAA weather radio because you're going to have some storms move through your area in the overnight hours on the 5th through the 6th. So in that late night 5th into the 6th of June, pretty impactful. And this just tells me that there's a lot of wind. Could be some embedded tornadoes in those areas right there. Even Fayetteville, Arkansas, Jay, Oklahoma, the areas Goodman, what is that? Jasper, Joplin area, into areas of Missouri. 78744.angel, will it hit Austin? This would be for June 6th, June 5th into the 6th. Austin area, I don't suspect that it's going to. We would have to look at day 2. Your probabilistic, today's risk, though, if we go back to that a little bit, you guys could end up having a few light storms, show that for Austin for today. Not anything real significant for Austin today. Uh, they're in a marginal risk for areas of Austin. And again, this is radar estimates that we're looking at. Let's go ahead and take a look at that precip. I want to shut off this for a minute and let's take a look at that precip outlook here. Let me shut this off here 1 second. I have something on there that I can't shut off, evidently. All right. Well, nonetheless, let's go ahead and take a look at your forecast for QPF over the next 72 hours. We'll take a look at that. The QPF is going to give us an idea of where all the rain is expected. Okay, so we're going to look at this. This is where all the moisture is expected over the next 72 hours. Let's see if we can get that to fill in here a little bit. These are the risks, okay? As you can see, they're outlined in there. And then the 72-hour outlook here. Let me see if I could get a probe to figure out what is expected in this area here. 1 second. Unfortunately, it's not giving me a graphic to be able to fill that setting here. 1 second. Model data, graphics. Yeah, it's not giving me the information as a legend to figure out exactly how much this is. That's the unfortunate thing. But as you can tell, so generally speaking, the reds are the most intense portion of rainfall that is expected. So lots of flooding expected, flash flooding expected over the next 72 hours in areas of eastern and northern portion of Oklahoma, even that Bentonville, Arkansas area, up into Springfield, Missouri area, St. Louis, the southern portion of Illinois, and areas, well, that's the coastline. You shut this off since I don't have a legend. I'll have to work on that and figure that out a little bit further. All right, so currently live in Marmar, Bentonville, Arkansas. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the live radar here. Now the DBZ is working. All right, it's loading all the data, so give me a second here. All right, there we go. Let me go ahead and go to the main timeline here, see if we could kind of get a live sweep here. Not a whole lot going on right now. If we go to shut off this radar and I want to go to composite here. This way I can look at the national radar, show you where all the storms are. As you can see, a lot of that weather is moving on to the east. And then this storm here is moving off to the southeast. A lot of the cloud cover. Let's take a look at the satellite loop. This is a look at the infrareds. There's a lot of tools. When will the wildfire, right? Crip, my question is when will the wildfire smoke will move out of southern Illinois? Yeah, dude, that is a great question. I wish I knew that. We have that here in South Dakota as well. See if I have the so as you can see, pretty intense storms. This was a look at about between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. Look at over in Killeen, the satellite imagery. That was crazy, crazy storms. Just really blew up there. All right, let's see if I can take a look at visibility here. We'll look at water vapor up lower levels here. Not a whole lot going on there. And then this is a look at that satellite imagery. A little tough to see that till it gets early in the morning, but anything for Columbus, Georgia. Well, let's take a look at that. It's quieting down in here quite a bit, so I'll go ahead and take a look at that real quick, and then I'm going to let you guys go because uh, I've got to get to work. I won't be live tomorrow at my usual time. I won't be live at all tomorrow, and I won't be live later today during any severe weather, unfortunately. But areas of Georgia, you're expecting to see general thunderstorms. Let's go ahead and put on the weather model estimates here. We'll take a look at NAM 3K here and do a solid for the folks that are just joining us. Go over the next 60 hours. Z, Columbus, Georgia. Let's find out where Columbus is. Where is Columbus with respect to Atlanta? Thanks, Doreen, for the follow. You're left of Atlanta. Left of Atlanta. Let's take a look here. Maybe I have to change my setting just a little bit here. Um, City labels here, heavy spacing. Must be a smaller area. But anyhow, let's take a look at these weather models and see if you're down here by Union City, just south of Atlanta, you could have some stormy weather. Again, general thunderstorms around 4 p.m. So close to Alabama, yes, smaller. All right, so, oh well. All right, I will get the general area. You can see some of the areas there, so hopefully I've got a solid for you here. General thunderstorms is all that's expected for today. And then for tomorrow, let's take a look at that. Guess what? More general thunderstorms for that area. Now, the concern for, you're welcome, Z. So the concern for day 3, which would end up being your Friday into Saturday time frame, that's where you have more of a risk. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Let's take a look here, see if this is going to be able to bring it out far enough. It's not going to be able to bring it out far enough, so stay tuned to our lives on Friday morning around 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time, and we'll definitely try to get you covered for what's expected for areas of Georgia. So this weekend is going to be kind of impactful for your areas this weekend. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to get ready for work. I appreciate you all joining. Let me do a solid for some of my folks in South Dakota here as well so that I can show you what's expected for our 7-day forecast. 7-day forecast. We don't have any snow in Rapid City, but look at that. Average high is 73, average low. This is for Rapid City, South Dakota. You're going to have a possibility of some light showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder for today. A Thursday, expect some more of that. Very light winds, light and variable, 0 to 5 miles an hour is all. So very, very low. And as we get into Friday and Saturday, we're looking mighty fine with sunny, mostly sunny skies. That wind shifts to become out of the west as we get into your Saturday afternoon. And then slowly but gradually, we start to downward trend for our temperatures. Very, very slight, more along the average side. Tuesday, we start seeing an uptick in precipitation chances again as we get that southeast wind. Let's go ahead and take a look at other areas of the forecasts. That would be for Sioux Falls area. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, average high at 76, average low 52. Today, we're expecting a possibility of rain showers. Again, just looking out here in my neck of the woods, I don't see that happening. I think it's going to stay dry. Thursday, rain showers likely, as we do see the precipitation chances increase. As far as severe weather goes, I don't believe I'm not gonna lie. Thursday night, that graphic showing 70% chance. I think it's gonna stay dry, but we'll see how it plays out. Friday, we will see some lingering showers and likely thunderstorms for Friday. And then Saturday, we're gonna try and dry things out as we get into the afternoon hours. South southwest wind 5 to 15. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So your next week is looking mighty great. Areas of Aberdeen, South Dakota, look at that. Slight chances of some showers, but nothing real significant. The storms aren't going to go that far north, but we are expecting to see temperatures continue to average out with the highs mainly in the mid 70s. Areas of Pierre, South Dakota, we're expecting a few light rumbles of thunder and showers on Thursday night for those areas. Northeast wind 3 to 8, so very light and variable. And then again, average high is 76, average low is 53. And we're going to stay pretty close to that. We'll get a little bit of an uptick as we get into Tuesday, but not too shabby. I do want to take a quick peek here for that um, day 2 and kind of do the estimates for South Dakota here as well to kind of show what is expected really for those showers. Yeah, it doesn't look too shabby. This is looking at later today, and I think this is overdone a little bit. This is looking at 6 o'clock today. I want to see tomorrow because we're supposed to go to Thunder Road tomorrow, which is some go-kart riding. So 2 o'clock in the afternoon, do have a few showers, light thunderstorms, but again, Sioux Falls area, don't expect it to be too significant. It's going to be later in the day, maybe areas, showers, light thunderstorms over in Watertown and Brookings area, Fort Thompson, Chamberlain, South Dakota areas. And then by the time you get done with the fifth, it's pretty much all out of here. All right, God bless and stay safe, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your day. Again, appreciate the solid follows. Appreciate all of you that have stayed with me on here. Trying to get my followers up. I got 20 new followers up. Appreciate that very much. Uh, and the algorithm seems to be having a little bit of a risk lately with TikTok as things have slowed down. But maybe once I could do more lives and get those alerts to come through for you, maybe that'll help it get a little bit better. Appreciate it all.